I'm dead.
Hi, I'm Noah, and this is me, 30 minutes into a hike in Albania. While traveling around, I thought, if it weren't for traveling, I wouldn't even be here. My mom moved to Italy from Japan after a trip she took. Also, traveling taught me so much. So, here are 6 thoughts on traveling from 6 different countries. Enjoy. For the first thought on traveling, we're currently in Sarajevo, the capital of the beautiful Bosnia. Traveling is counterintuitively the most cost-effective, time-efficient, and laziest way to learn. Let me try to explain better. So let's say that you have an equation where you have inputs on the left and outputs on the right. By output, I mean learning, so all the experiences that you make through your senses. As an input, I'm talking about every activity that yields some kind of experiences. So studying, talking to someone, creating something. Under this big umbrella of inputs, you're gonna have mainly 3 things. The time, as in the time that you're gonna dedicate to this activity, the money, so the money that you spend for the activity and everything that requires you purchasing something, and effort, so the energy that you put and that you willingly have to put. Therefore, out of all the activities, when I think of traveling, I imagine multiple things. There's this sensory immersion, so everything is involved, from the new smells of the place where you are to the different languages that you hear, the different tastes that you're gonna have, and from the feel that you're gonna get from other people and the way they socialize and the cultures where they are. So touch, smell, sight, sounds, it engages all the senses simultaneously. In a way, for the amount of money that you're gonna dedicate to it, I know that you're gonna spend a bit more when it comes to traveling, where you're gonna sleep, where you're gonna eat, but every second you're learning. You don't need that much effort in a way, because just you being there is enough for you to learn. And then of course, the more you engage with the people, the more you're gonna walk around, the more you're gonna learn. But the baseline only requires you to just be physically there. For a no matter long or short amount of time that you're gonna travel, every second you're technically experiencing something new. So every second you're cashing in experience. Even unwillingly, you're absorbing knowledge, culture, history, and perspectives. All of these things that are embedded in the environment. For the second thought on traveling, we are in Cologne, Germany. I had a Kölsch, really nice beer from here, typical, quite fresh, and I've been strolling around with my girlfriend. Traveling forces you to relativize everything. It challenges your notion of normal, and it pushes you to ask questions on what you've already accepted as absolutes. So in Italy, for example, ordering a coffee usually means espresso. So if you don't ask for any other specific things, a coffee at the cafe implies an espresso. In Germany, for instance, when you ask for a coffee, you get a filter coffee. In Albania, as well as in Greece and in Turkey, the espresso is now getting traction, but the traditional coffee is a slightly longer shot of espresso with a lot of residual in the cup. In countries of the Horn of Africa, coffee looks like an espresso, but is a bit longer of a shot, and it also has ginger and cinnamon. But I think it's really funny to me that every time Italians travel around, and I don't want to generalize, but we are quite stereotypically famous for being quite intolerant about any kind of deviations of Italian cuisine. We always are curious about how people in foreign countries make pizza. We always have something to say about how they make coffee. I guess that the point I'm trying to make is that normal is only what you have been used to and what people around you have been doing, and traveling really challenges that. And the reason being that when you're in other places, you just get used to how other people do stuff. So what's normal at home isn't universal. It's just one perspective. Therefore, traveling naturally puts you in a position where you have to question all of this, and it forces you to ask yourself questions about your own notion of normality, about your own traditions. Every time you travel, you're breaking absolutism. For the third thought on traveling, we are currently in the city of Zabljak, which is in Durmidar National Park, Montenegro. The real cost of travel is the willingness to embrace discomfort, and that's free. If your goal is just to be there, then the cheapest option often yields the best results. Just to make an example, right? Gigantic Montenegrin mosquito. Here, there is a I don't know if you can see it, a 10 euro bus to move from Montenegro to another country, to Albania. And I think this is great. For less than a price of a fancy dinner, I have the access to a new culture. And that's the whole point, because traveling doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to be intentional. So traveling is getting increasingly affordable. And I know this is quite European centric, but buses, trains, they're just getting cheaper and cheaper. And this allows cheap traveler to have more access, generally speaking, traveling. And usually the biggest cost is a transportation cost. And the fact that these ones are going down is really good. Prioritize presence over luxury. The core value of traveling should just be being there on the spot. And while expensive activities are optional, usually immersion is free. Low budget traveling really unlocks unlimited opportunities. Usually you're gonna need more time, but I will say that accepting discomfort removes financial barriers. So taking my case, for instance, the very first travels that I managed to do were travels funded by the European Union. So again, really EU-centric, but they financed the traveling, the food and accommodation of young people wanting to explore their being European and gathering with other civil society activists. And it's always like a great opportunity for you to travel alone and meet new people that you're gonna bond for life with. Traveling shouldn't just be a matter of spending money, it should be more a matter of investing time and openness. The cheaper you're willing to go, the more places and the further you can explore. And look at the view outside here. It's just beautiful. For the fourth thought about traveling, we are in Naples, Italy, where for the past 2 days we explored all the main cultural landmarks. Don't overlook what's in your backyard. And this is to say that probably your country has more than you realize. I was born in Italy, a country that is really blazoned for all the tourism related potential, and each region, if not each city, each town has something different to offer. But I guess that these points are generalizable for any other place in the world. Traveling is not just international. Exploring your own country can be just enriching as going abroad. And I would say that many people overlook national destinations thinking that they're less exotic. There's cultural diversity at home. So even a single country can have so many subcultures, regional differences in dialects, cultures, landscapes, and anything else really. And I would say, as a person with a double identity, being both Italian and Japanese, but being born and raised in Italy, I had many more chances to explore Italy as a country. This is a reminder, also to myself, to prioritize local exploration. Traveling within your own country can be more accessible and convenient. You're probably gonna spend less in transportation. You could require potentially flying, but domestic flights can cost less than international ones. You can use trains, cars, public transportation that are usually more convenient. You can experience less frictions by being able to speak the local languages. The exotic can be much closer than you think. For the fifth thought on traveling, we are in Tirana, Albania. To understand a place, just follow the locals. The best way to experience a place is to adopt local habits. Try to live like a local. Use public transports, eat local food, and engage in their daily routines, because this gives you more of an immersion and you can actually get a more authentic perspective. About public transports, usually they're more convenient, sometimes not, but taking taxis, buses, trams, those are the way that those same local peoples experience their place. And it's a way to observe and connect with the locals. And you will probably see parts of the city that tourists usually miss. Eat local food, try local cuisine, try to get what people eat in the same place where you are. And what's gonna get interesting is that every country has their own cultural adaptation of other existing cuisines. For example, for me it was really surprising to see that in Tirana, Albania, they have so many people speaking Italian and you have a really authentic connection with Italian food. So they cook it quite well. They comply to the highest Italian standards for Italian food. And these local interpretations of global dishes can be just as revealing about the culture as the local food per se. In Finland, there should be a pizza that has banana and curry, and I think that's quite interesting. Within all of this, always try to prioritize safety and hygiene, but within those bounds, try to push yourself and adapt to the local way of doing it. Take public transports and eat local food, and just try to embrace the rhythm of everyday life. For the sixth and final thought on traveling, I'm currently in Skopje, North Macedonia. And I'm actually quite tired because it was like 3 a.m. and I brought my girlfriend to get her bus because she had an early flight. And you can see that I was quite tired. Oh, look at my new t-shirt. You only truly get to know someone after sharing a trip together. Honestly, I think that traveling together is the ultimate test for compatibility. There's an analogy that goes like, you truly get to know someone after you got to share a kilo of salt. And this is to say that you basically have to share a lot of meals with someone to actually say that you got to know them. And this analogy applies to traveling together, I believe, because eating as traveling are experiences. Therefore, the more experiences you share with someone, the stronger the bond. And I think in travels is much more obvious that with food, but it becomes a matter of responsibility to make it meaningful to the people who are traveling together, to make the experience interesting. It deepens bonds because traveling with someone means that you're spending a lot of time together. Therefore, you also get to see how they react in different contexts, new contexts, and often really unpredictable. There's this sense of shared discovery because when you're traveling with someone, you discover new things together. It creates unique memories and inside jokes, and I believe this is beautiful. You learn about interests, experiences, and quirks that make the other person special. And let me tell you that in relationships, traveling is definitely a test. It can be challenging because there's so many unpredictable things like language barriers, obstacles, delays, disagreements that you're gonna have to face together. And it's a way to see how both of you handle stress, compromise, and how you support each other. It's kind of like a compatibility test. And there's also practical perks. You can share costs for accommodation, transports, therefore you can make the travel more affordable. And the comfort of companionship can also help you to make the unfamiliar more familiar, and therefore it makes it less daunting. Shared adventures become stories you'll tell for years. And now, let's go home. Hello. Hi again. So I came home, I showered, and I actually was thinking of a bonus point that I would like to give you. So point number 7. And this is because the suggestion that I have, you can kind of do from wherever in the world as long as you have some access to the internet. The desire to travel is really a desire to experience. And that can start with a click. Turn your screen into a window to the world. Get into the traveler's mentality. The core of it is the willingness to experience something different. I meant the willingness to experience per se, like the fact that you really want to experience things. This mindset can be nurtured even while you're home. Digital exploration is a bridge. YouTube and travel content and anything else really on the internet really allows you to virtually explore the places in which you're interested. You can watch locals or travelers going to those places, and of course it's gonna feel different than just being there, but hey, you gotta work with the means that we have. This modality allows you to overcome constraints. You only need access to internet and a laptop and a phone. Yes, I know that these are not necessarily in everyone's homes, but it's much more accessible than the time and the money will be required to travel otherwise. It's a way to stay engaged and keep your dream alive. It actually can also help you to identify the places that you feel like are really worth your money, especially if you come from low resources, no matter whether you don't have that much money or time to dedicate. Using digital exploration allows you to look for the different destinations, and the one that sparks you the most interest that you feel like you want to do, you can just think of maybe actually going there. But that digital check you get can allow you to explore first to understand if you really want to go. Curiosity is the real passport. Platforms like YouTube let you roam freely, even from home. Now, hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think actually in the comments, because I'm sure you're gonna have other advice or even opinions about what I've just said. I wanna read and hear them all. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.